Malcolm Simmons is cleared, and this is a very big week for Auburn's offense.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to get after it. Malcolm Simmons is completely cleared of all charges. Charges were dropped, so he is in the clear for the season. So no distractions there as Auburn looks to take advantage of a huge week. This is the last real week of good on good before you start really game planning for Baylor. So you got a lot of things to iron out and really take advantage of this time of serious physical fall camp. You know, the old school fall camp. This is the last real week to take advantage of that. So we're going to talk about all of that here in just a second. But before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to rowback.com. Use coupon code BARN20 to take 20% off your order. Y'all got to see the polo that they dropped, the new Auburn polo that's available for game day. Super cool print. You got the War Eagles all over it. Got all kind of football stuff all over it. Got you a new hoodie and a new pullover too. So a lot of good stuff. Check it out. Get your Auburn game day gear and save big by using coupon code BARN20. Take 20% off that order. It's rowback.com. Yesterday, Malcolm Simmons was cleared on the legal side of all charges. Charges were dropped by the county, whoever the case was going before, the charges were completely dropped. So he's clear on all sides. Okay. And you got to go back and remember, we're going to go through a little bit of a timeline for those that weren't really keeping up with it. Basically just a couple of weeks, mid-July, before practice fall camp started, he was arrested for a domestic violence charge. Okay. State of Alabama doesn't play with those type things. If there's a call, somebody's going to jail. No matter, it ain't like we can talk it out. Typically, when there's a domestic violence call, somebody's going to jail. Malcolm was arrested. And when that happens, the university conduct takes over. Okay. That's Title IX. And especially if it's a Title IX case, the university conduct review takes over and they start doing their own investigation. And when that happened, from that point up until fall camp, he was basically suspended from campus. I think he could come back to take a final if he had one. But until they concluded their investigation, he was suspended from campus under the Auburn Conduct Review Board, whatever you want to call them. I don't know their official title. Okay. They conducted their own investigation. And I think as time went on, people were wondering, would he be at practice? And then he was there for the very first day. And then it was released that the Conduct Review Board had done their own investigation and found no wrongdoing. Okay. So he's out of the water, out of the woods, so to speak, on the Auburn University side. Okay. But you still got the legal side. Okay. And we talked about that as well, how his attorney, his legal team was really hoping to move the case up. I think it was later in August. They wanted to move it they actually wanted to do it even sooner than it was yesterday. They wanted to get it even into last week and kind of get this thing over with, because I think they felt good for whatever reason. We're not going to go into the details of the case, but they felt good enough that they wanted to go ahead and get this moved up and get it over with. Well, this is not a case. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, maybe the victim just dropped the charges. I think in the state of Alabama, I'm not a law expert, but I've talked to enough people. This is not a case that can just be dropped by a victim. This is not a case. This level of case cannot just be, they can just say, oh, no, I changed my mind. I don't want to press charges. It goes to, this is now a county. this is now a legal case where the actual legal system has to drop the case. Okay. So in order to do that, they either have to feel like there is not enough evidence, they don't have a case, or they feel like maybe some information was conflicting and they don't feel good about taking the case forward. Now, we've seen examples at Auburn of cases that would be okay, or I guess exonerated in the legal system, but not get past the Auburn University conduct system. And we've seen cases the opposite. This one, he got through both of them. Okay. So I think that speaks to the the case itself. There was 2 different investigations done, and he was sort of exonerated of, not really, the term exonerated was not used, but basically there wasn't enough evidence or not enough of a case on either side to warrant his dismissal or warrant his, further suspension from the team. So he's done. He's got through the university conduct side. He's gotten through the legal side. He's ready to go. So I think, it's unfortunate. And then, unfortunately, the child that they have together has had some issues as well, some medical issues. So he's been missing some practice because of that. So just a lot of stuff going on. I know he's dealing with a lot. That family's dealing with a lot. So I think everybody should just be thinking and praying for the family and hoping that they get everything figured out and that the child can get the care that it needs and live happy and healthy. So I think everybody is going to be able to put this behind them and move forward. And Auburn's going to do the same. And hopefully Malcolm can do the same without any, distractions and things like that. So he is a very, very big impact on the offense. We saw he was not at the scrimmage this past Friday. And we have some sources that just say, hey, man, I tell you what, it's different when he's out there. It's just different when he's out there. Not that he is the driver of the offense, not that he is the focal point of the offense, but when you have a guy like Malcolm out on the field, it puts a lot of pressure on the offense. And I'm going to talk to you about why here in just a second. We'll be back right after this. Malcolm's being used, and Eric Singleton, very similar. They can be put pretty much anywhere on the field. At any given time, they can catch a ball down the field. They can beat you deep. They can catch a ball behind the line of scrimmage. They can run a jet sweep. They can, run your just traditional wide receiver, like little short slants, digs, whatever, those type routes. And then they can even jump into the backfield and take a carry out of the backfield. They've really been trying to utilize every single possible way that they can get the ball in the hands of these 2 playmakers because they're just so electric. Malcolm in particular. So just by his presence being on the field, it makes the defense nervous. It makes the defense have to adjust some things just to account for him. Okay. Now, I'm not saying if Malcolm goes out, there's no offense. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he is that so important that they can't function without him. I'm just saying that even the defense can respect that, hey, when he's out there, we got to keep our head on a swivel. We have to be watching because he could be getting the ball from any way, shape, or form. He could be getting the ball. So just having all this behind him and him being a part of that offense, and that's going to be big for continuity. It's going to be big for chemistry. It's been sort of up and down as far as his being there and not being there. So to have a lot of this behind him, and hopefully the family situation is being mended and they can get sort of on a good foot moving forward from health and all that good stuff. So this is big for him, and it's big for the offense moving forward. And it couldn't really have come at a better time, because this is really the last true good on good week. Let's call it that. This is your last real camp week. You may bleed a little bit into next week, but for the most part, after this week, you're going to really start ramping up the Baylor game planning. Okay. Not only because it's getting closer, but I mean, you have that one day quicker that you travel out there. So you play on Friday instead of a Saturday. That shifts your schedule. So whether your typical week of preparation is going to slide into the week prior, and I assume you're probably going to have a couple more days on top of that. Why not prepare for them even that much longer? So this week is really important, because once this week is over, that's when scout team comes into play. That's when you're not going up against your ones anymore. It just changes. It just changes a little bit. So that resistance you're getting from your number one defense, and you're learning how to adjust to that and find the things that you can do well versus a higher end defense, and what you can't do, and then what you need to fix. This is the week to do it. This is the last week you have to do it. And that's going to culminate into a big scrimmage on Saturday. And then I think once that's done, I don't want to say fall camp is done. You'll probably have a practice to kind of clean up the scrimmage. And then it's pretty much, hey, we're getting ready for Baylor. The pressure of good on good is over. That you're still going to have some of it in your individual periods and things like that. But when you're going 11 on 11 after this week, you're pretty much going against scout team on both sides of the ball. So you really got to get your good work in this week. And it's good that obviously, if Malcolm can get back out there and everybody's healthy and moving forward, it's a good week to, really refine your technique, really refine how you want to utilize these guys, and get a chance to go up against one of the best defenses, I think, in the conference, and maybe end up being one of the best defenses in the country. So it's a big week. They had the scrimmage on this past Friday they struggled. From what I understand, there was a closed practice, no media on Sunday, had a really big bounce back. Not a lot of details, but the offense looked just 1,000 times better on Sunday than it did on Friday. So you're hoping you can carry that momentum and just kind of keep building there. I've heard multiple people talk about the fact that, there's some things the offense does really well, and there's some things that the offense, there needs to be some fine tuning. There needs to be some cleaning up, getting better in some areas. So really focusing on those, because those may be those critical areas. Some of those areas that we saw last year when Auburn got down last year, just didn't have the ability to throw our way back into a game. Didn't really have an ability to, on those third and critical, third and 8s, third and 10s, just didn't feel confident being able to convert on those. Those are some areas that Auburn sorely needs to get better at. Being able on crunch time, those short yardage situations, goal to go, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, those type scenarios. Those are the things this week that you really get a chance to refine against, good on good. So those are the little things that take you from an okay offense between the 20s to an elite offense that can score once they get those opportunities. This is the week to do that. This is the week to really put the finishing touches on that, and then now you're getting ready to attack Baylor. I mean, you're looking to hopefully end what's a really embarrassing streak of Auburn's has one of the longest active AP poll droughts among Power 4 teams. It's been a really tough stretch since 2021. Auburn jumped into the top 25 back in 2021 at some point in time, and there's been 55 polls that have come out. Auburn not in the top 25. So, and the teams that are also in there, you just don't really want to be associated with. So, definitely looking to hopefully break that streak this year. And you got the talent to do it. You just got to make it happen. On the coaching side, you got to make it happen. On the preparation side, it's a big year. So Malcolm's in the clear. I understand there's going to be some feelings on both sides of the fence. There's going to be some people that are happy. There's going to be some people that are confused. But I just understand that he's gone through 2 different investigations and been cleared on both sides. And we have, again, I said it earlier in the show, we have Auburn athletes that we can point to that were not as successful, I guess, is the only word I can really come up with as far as going through those things. Even if they were not guilty on one, they were found guilty on the other. I mean, you've had issues like that. And so he's been through both of them. So I think we can put it behind us and move on. And that's big timing for this week, because this is a really important week for the offense to really refine everything they got going on before you start game planning for Baylor next week. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about Malcolm's impact. What do you want to see him do? How do you want to see him get the ball this year? I think you're going to see him get it in a ton of different ways. Even special teams. Got to get the ball in his hand. So, guys, I really appreciate you listening. We'll be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.